the idea of the airborne soldier goes back a long way. They jumped into battle in their thousands by parachute. And that's perhaps why, because of their special skills, in most armies, the paras are regarded as a special and elite unit. Soldiers dropping from the skies were a feature of World War II and Korea. Their chief weapon was surprise. Their fighting tradition was formidable, as it had to be, given the odds they faced. And it was the Germans who were the first to commit paratroopers to action en masse.
The parachute soldiers in any army in the world are always a certain elite. They stick together, they kept good discipline, and they had everywhere a wonderful spirit. Our soldiers, our non-commissioned officers, we commanders, all together, we are one family. We meet, we were helping each other, are good comrades, are good soldiers, are trained to obey orders. Everybody wants to serve his country. There was a lot of patriotism. All parachutists begin their training on the ground. They are hardened in careful steps to the shock of the jump, the slipstream, and the landing. They must also prepare for their type of operations with great care. By 1941, the German parachutists had taken part in two great campaigns, in the West and in the Balkans. And then in May of that year, they planned for their riskiest venture, the assault on Crete. Codenamed Mercury, the operation was to be the first attempt of the airborne age to seize a large objective with parachute troops. As we saw Crete from the air, I was from time to time with these pilots in the cockpit and had a good view. We had quite clear weather. Naturally, everybody wants to show up that he is a proud soldier, but in fact, I wouldn't be honest if I was not admitting that everybody in fact was afraid. This was a situation where we started singing even. We admitted that all of us, we were afraid. And the singing in the plane was more or less show business. You give each other courage.
We dropped down like, how shall I say, like a bag of potatoes. We always had to stand, hold on the door, jump head first, spread your arms, keep yourselves in a balance, jump out towards the wing. Then you're frightened. Everybody is frightened. But you hope for that bang. Once you're out, you hear that bang on top of you. And that's a relief, you shoot it's over.
But a safe landing is not enough to make a parachute jump a success. The individual paratrooper has to begin fighting hard as soon as he hits the ground.
The individual is more important than the unit after landing in the first, say, 20 minutes. You must have good soldiers, big boys and so, and they don't have an aim and they are no patriots, they can forget them. There was the most heavy fighting. The biggest fighting was around the airport in Mallemes.
The airport was the key. The Germans finally took it and opened the way for their transport aircraft to bring in reinforcements. Had the British held the airport, they could have isolated the German parachutists and destroyed them at leisure. As it was, supported by stronger forces, the Germans went on to the offensive and victory.
We occupied at least this hill of Mallemes, and then more or less the whole island was in our hand. But we had heavy losses, and I think the whole German General Staff was astonished about these losses. I think the whole airborne philosophy was changed after this experience of Crete.
So heavy were the German losses that Hitler never again risked using his elite airborne divisions in mass drops.
We will fight to the last man. I will get weapons from wherever I have to get it. If the Pentagon's got some, please give me some. I'll use it. We are not a military group here. I'm not a soldier. What we seek to do is to destroy these military dictatorships around Africa. And that's that child still of ours. If the civilians can throw out the army, wow, we are in trouble. That's that virus. Well, I love it.
Weapon market is very dirty business, very dirty business. And even we bought some from NATO, and we bought some, our people bought some from Bulgaria and from NATO, and they armed themselves. And then when the Yugoslav army left Bosnia, we took it because this is made by our own taxes. This is by our money. That's why we take it.
Soldiers in any army in the world are always a certain elite. They stick together, they kept good discipline, and they had everywhere a wonderful spirit.